everyone. Welcome to my first movie review on my second channel. Movie today, Snakes on a Plane. And that's what I'm talking about today. Okay, so Snakes on a Plane, I don't need to tell you the plot, but it's easier for me to work it into the review if I do mention it. So part of the movie is basically simple. Sean, this kid, sees the bad guy Eddie Kim murder somebody. Eddie Kim sees him while Sean sees him. Samuel L. Jackson, portraying an FBI agent, shows up and tries to escort him back to LA. Eddie Kim boards the plane but also has a bunch of people put a bunch of snakes into boxes full of Lay's, sprays pheromones on them, and then releases them over the plane, and then it's becoming a survival movie after that. So, let's talk about the good things about this movie first. So, first of all, I love what they did with the cast in here. They took roles of all, like, stereotypical characters that you could find on the plane. You've got a woman with her child, you've got a woman with a dog, you've got a married couple who you don't nervous about flying, you've got a married or engaged couple who, you know, all about the Mile High Club, you've got a couple of arrogant people, jerky people, flight attendants, all different personality, the young attractive woman, the old kind woman, the in-between woman who is just moving along with her career, just all that stuff. I just love that they got that many people, and everyone was perfectly cast in here. They acted their roles just amazingly. I believed it perfectly. Yeah, that was great. And I also love how this movie, basically requires every single second of it, because, like, you could argue that when people, like, boarding the plane and we're getting introduced to characters, some of these shots aren't necessary, and yet a lot of the characters, be it the main character, Samuel Jackson, Sean, Claire, or the supporting characters like the other flight attendants and the other passengers, almost every single one of those scenes are necessary because these characters play parts in either the main story arc of the film, which is, you know, keeping the snakes at bay, or helping out other characters in their own survival situations, because you've got the jerk guy who's annoyed at the woman with her baby and the woman with her dog, and then you know how he throws the dog. Yes, this is going to have spoilers, I should have said that earlier. But all of that is necessary, and I love that. I don't think there's really a single boring part to this movie at all. And I really find that amazing, because you would think that there'd be a couple boring spots in a movie like this, but I can tell you that there isn't. And I also love how this movie made me feel, because, like, that kind of sounds stupid, but, you know, this movie got me excited. It got me feeling for the characters, because, like, you know, there's characters I want to survive, other characters I just want to see how they develop, other characters that, you know, I just want to see axed off. I feel nervous in some situations. You just get the idea. It made me feel all kinds of emotions. And I liked it. Liked how I felt those emotions. Any movie that does that, and there's quite a few movies that did do that, I generally enjoy. So I think I've mentioned the cast and the feel of the movie enough, and the pacing. What they did with the snakes really is amazing, because not only with the real snakes, but the CGI snakes. Some of you will be able to tell them apart, or you can tell when they're going to be used. I can somewhat do it, but I'm not looking for that. I just want to see what happens in the movie plot, and what they did was pretty good. These snakes do behave kind of like snakes do, even though I think the majority of snakes won't bite you out there, but that's irrelevant. They're going through causing mayhem, and the people aren't helping matters, which is spewing more chaos, which is making more attacks happen. And that's great. And I also love how this movie kind of has, shall we say, a MacGyver kind of feel to it. It isn't where they're taking, like, every little thing and, making stuff extraordinary happen, because, like, MacGyver, he's able to take, like, just say, a pack of chewing gum, a match, and one other object, and create a homemade hand grenade. Well, they, of course, don't do that in this movie, but they make it seem pretty practical, using all the resources that they have available, and the way they come up with ways to survive is pretty creative. Like, using the life raft, that was a good move, depressurizing the cabin to, like, get rid of the snakes and all that. That is good stuff. Movie is extremely well written. I love that. And I also love the humor in this movie. It's not really intentionally trying to be humor, but you can attribute like all sorts of genres to this movie. You could say it's kind of thriller, kind of horror, kind of comedy, kind of just a regular airplane movie. Just, you can attribute a bunch to it, and it works great. And the character of Eddie Kim is done pretty well, because, like, you really get an evil side to this guy. He doesn't do too many speeches or evil actions, but you get the evil sense. That's good. I honestly think that's it. Oh, and I feel like they do a good job of wrapping up every individual character's story arc up. They don't leave anyone out of the picture. Everyone gets an ending. And also, the storylines on the mainland are handled brilliantly also. You would think that they'd take a side seat, well, they kind of do, but they're actually pretty darn important, and you learn quite a lot of details. Maybe not all of them are true, but I find it interesting. So, let's talk about, shall we say, a few of the negative aspects. There aren't that many, and I consider a good amount of them to be nitpicks. Well, some of you will be annoyed by this movie because you'll be able to tell the CGI snakes from the real snakes. And if you have the Blu-ray of this movie, I've heard from like everyone that you'll have a much easier time. I have the DVD, I might get the Blu-ray, but I have to admit I'm kind of nervous about the whole idea of being a lot easier to tell the difference. So, maybe. I don't know, it's not a big deal. Also, I feel like in Hawaii there's like not too much of a loud presence. That could be a true fact, but I don't know, it just feels a little insecure, shall we say, but like I said, it's a nitpick. Also, when they depressurize the cabin, a lot of the snakes fly out of the plane, so they're in the ocean, okay? Well, aren't they still harmful? I mean, like, sure, not many snakes can swim, but I'm confident a few of them can float. That occur to anybody? That, you know, they could still be hurtful? Sure, they could be several miles out and the current wouldn't carry them in, but... And then Eddie Kim being on the plane. He's just on the plane for the sake of being on the plane. Now, it could be that it's not him, because I've never actually gotten complete proof that it was him, although the tattoos appear to be pretty similar. But just... I don't know, he just doesn't do anything. I feel like he could have, you know, tried to kill Sean or just something. He just doesn't do anything. Now, if it turns out that it wasn't him, then it's not a big deal. I haven't listened to the commentary track, although I have seen all the other extras. And they're pretty good extras, even though if the deleted scenes and gag reel don't end up being that much. So really, that finishes it off. Final rating for this movie? I'm changing my rating thing from last time. I'm going to give this a 4.8, but I will upload a video either before or after this explaining how I rate the movies again. And no, I didn't mention the cast like I did in my previous channel, because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know, it's kind of stupid that I do that, let's just axe that. So basically, why do I rate 4.8? Because, well, it's basically a movie that is perfect in basically every way, but that, you know, there are just a few issues that just ruin it, but it's still a very, very good movie, and I find it a bummer that it didn't make that much money, despite the fact it was a sensation before it was there, but I think it's a good movie, and I'm even trying to get the novelization for it, because I collect a lot of film novelizations. I just like to do it, and I found that they actually help you. Because, like, the first Spider-Man movie, the one by Sam Raimi, I had seen the movie several times, but it was like, about the movie, I read the novel, and it helped me big time with understanding the movie. So that's one reason I get them. So, hope you enjoyed this review. I'm not going to say what I'm reviewing next on this channel, it'll just happen. Bye, everyone.